Again, no intro today, folks. If you read the title, you know what I'm about to say. There's a difference between supporting and shilling. I'm gonna get to you soon.
I'm sure you have already seen some of your favorite YouTubers doing that. Don't doubt it. It's because they got paid. The funniest part is that Osmo Gold actually openly admitted it.
They actually sponsored me to watch the trailer. Believe it or not. Everybody has complained about my reacts. Well, guess what? I'm getting sponsored to fucking react. That's the world that we're living in right now, boys.
Now again, like I said, I will not react to all of it, okay? I'll react snippets of it or halfway, something like that. Then we'll talk about it. Because if you see the cuts or anything, that means I found the part I want to react to, okay? I'm not reacting to all.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is your Chinese fish-head peasant Spicy. Starting from Genshin Impact, the world began to pay more attention to games from China. Then came Black Myth Wukong, which seemed to push everything to a new high. After that, a bunch of Chinese game trailers with seemingly great quality came out, and it feels like Chinese games are heading in a good direction. Recently, a new game from NetEast called Blood Message Tang got a ton of attention, thanks to its impressive visuals and the unique Chinese cultural background, which feels very fresh to foreign audiences. It received a lot of views and positive feedback on platforms like YouTube. Many players said they were looking forward to it and expressed their support for Chinese games.
Not just Chinese games, but games made in the East, indie, AA, something like that. And most importantly, I'm not certain if Feifei is going to address this, but Western AAA games, they refuse to give gamers what they want. Ever since 2014, gamers, they've been anxious to get a good game. So most of them just go indie, never ever a AAA. And most importantly, many of them who are longtime fans, let's say for example, Batman. What happened with the Arkhamverse? Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. And then, I believe, this is my theory, I fully believe that after Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, many game developers from the East, South Korea and China mostly, they realized this was their chance. It's go time, baby.
And expressed their support for Chinese games. As a Chinese gamer and also a game developer, of course I feel happy about this. First, because I really want to see Chinese games improve. And second, because for various messy reasons, it's honestly not easy to see positive feedback about China or Chinese stuff on foreign platforms, you know. But in sharp contrast to all the praise overseas, this game trailer actually got mocked and ridiculed in Chinese platforms. The attitude of Chinese players is completely different from that of the foreign players. I've translated some for you. Feel free to pause and check them out.
Okay, you know what? Think about that for a second, folks. How come Western games, the West hates it, but the East loves it? But when it comes to the Eastern games, such as China or anything, you know what? Let me rephrase that. Let's say games like, what games are it? Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. How come the East loves it, but the West hates it? Blood Message, the West loves it, but the East hates it. Think about it for a second, folks.
For the NetEast, a AAA game means Android and Apple. So today, let me once again be your spy and let's see what really happened that made the players so against this game.
Supporting and shilling, there's two different things, okay? Even though I support games such as, I don't know, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Warhammer 40k, or even better, Black Myth Wukong, that does not mean I won't highlight the flaws in it. Hypnotic also plays games. Most importantly, he also highlighted the flaws of the game, whether it's Eastern games or even Western games or even indie, because I'm in the belief that no one is immune to criticism. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're Ukraine, Russia, or Israel, Palestine, no one is immune to criticism. No one. Yes, Hassan Piker, I'm looking at you.
Actually, it's not so much about the game itself, but more about the developer, NetEast. More specifically, NetEast's Thunderfire Studio, or even more specifically, NetEast's marketing department. NetEast is the second largest game company in China, only behind Tencent. Before trying to break into single-player games, they developed a lot of commercially successful online games, like 梦幻西游, 阴阳师, and so on. They also make games based on other IPs, like the recent popular Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, but don't forget, live service, they come and go, okay? Well, yes, there are some season passes or battle pass, whatever it is. After the season is done, it's done. They won't come back unless there's another season, which is like what, 2 to 3 years or something? Unlike in single player, you pick it up, drop it, boot it up again later on. And still, single player and live service is still competing. Remember, this is no longer console war. Besides, well, it is now about platform, but most importantly, it's about East versus West and single player versus live service, okay? Both of these games, they're trying to balance with one another. We all know that single player has its own audience, live service has its own audience. Now, the problem is the executive. The executive, many of them, still think single player is a thing of the past. And when they see Marvel Rivals, they think that's the proof of it, but only problem is they don't look at it in a bigger picture.
They also published the foreign games in China, like the Blizzard series and the Minecraft. They're infamous among Chinese players for their over-the-top monetized system, like gacha, pay-to-win mechanics, and yeah. They've basically perfected the art of getting people to spend more money, to the point that even government media has called them out multiple times. But at the same time, other companies look up to them because those tactics work. Crazy profitable, you know. Their game business brings in 70 to 80 billion RMB in revenue each year. That's one big reason why China hasn't really produced any notable single-player games, because making single-player games just isn't profitable.
Before we rewind that, just a bit of side note, that is quite true. I think Black Myth Wukong would be there first. Yeah, for China. I mean, I know for South Korea, they have, I believe South Korea has Stellar Blade. I don't know. I need to recheck this. I think Stellar Blade was South Korean video game developers, or in this case, games made in the single-player games made in South Korea is Stellar Blade. Black Myth Wukong is for China.
China hasn't really produced any notable single-player games, because making single-player games just isn't profitable. Take Genshin Impact for example. It made more in 6 months than Zelda Breath of the Wild did in total. Now let me explain a little why Chinese players, or at least a portion of them, are so obsessed with single-player games, even though they don't make as much money. Of course, it's the same reason players around the world love them. Better visuals, higher quality, better experience. They let us fully immerse ourselves in another world and other culture.
Oh, and one last thing, I don't know if Feifei will address, but I'm gonna add it. Here's the difference, okay? Look, the problem is that live service game wants you to be always online, okay? And that's the problem because there are some parts, assuming you have a good internet connection, you can probably, oh, I don't know, be good at a lobby or anything. But sometimes many people who get crappy internet connection, can't even say that word, they usually couldn't even win a match. And I know some of you who have played free-to-play games, you also experience some internet connection. I also experienced some too. And most importantly, single player, most of them will be always offline. There's no online.
But sadly, we've never really had a game like that of our own, until Black Myth Wukong suddenly appeared and exploded on the internet, both in China and internationally. It made a previously unknown indie studio famous worldwide. It also got full policy support during its release. Though there were some controversies along the way, in the end it became a huge success both in name and profit. This gave a big boost of confidence to all the other people and companies who were thinking about making single-player games.
Look, Black Myth Wukong did woke up a lot of executives, but there are some who are still asleep, still in the belief that live service is still the norm and single-player games are the past. It's gonna take a while to even convince them. But most importantly, gamers this time, I think gamers are looking not just for good game, they're looking for alternative. After all the flops, South of Midnight, what else? Tales of the Shire, that is upcoming, not knowing whether it's gonna flop or not. Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet, Unknown 9 Awakening. Man, I forget about that. That was easy to forget. Like I said, AAA games in the West are dying. Many gamers around the world, they feel alienated and betrayed by the AAA in the West. And these Western AAA games, or game company, got laid off. And you wonder why they get laid off and why didn't the East get laid off? Now think about that for a second. Why did the Western AAA developers are suffering layoff, but the East indie and AA rarely suffer any layoffs. And most importantly, the East, okay? The Eastern developers never suffer any layoff.
Player games. It gave Chinese gaming a much-needed shoot of adrenaline just when things were starting to look a little bleak. After that, a wave of Chinese game trailers followed, many with strong visuals and great potential. Everyone started to get hopeful again. That includes games from NetEast. Actually, Blood Message isn't their first so-called single-player game. Last year, they released Where Wind Meets, which was hyped up as the second college student from the village after Black Mass Wukong, and had high expectations. But just to make more money, they turned it into a cross-platform release including Android and iOS.
Oh, so that's what it means. Wow. So that's where NetEase's first single player. Man, I didn't even know that. Wait, I need to see what's the name again? Hang on a sec. Well, let's see one more time. I need to.
Last year, they released Where Wind Meets, which was hyped up
Where Wind Meet. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that on Steam if it's still available. I don't know if it's
into a cross-platform release including Android and iOS. Yeah, this is why they left that comment. AAA game means Android and Apple. Yeah. That obviously forced them to downgrade the graphics and performance.
Wait, did he say? Did she just say downgrade? Okay, that's you know what? Let's continue.
Also added an online co-op similar to Genshin, which ruined the single-player feel. In the end, the traditional single-player fans felt the gameplay lacked impact, and too many monetization traps, and the UI was a mess. Meanwhile, MMO players felt it was too hard, so they ended up pleasing no one. To make things worse, they run ridiculous ads like the only real wuxia game is the Where Wind Meet.
I think there's a thing that even in the gaming industry, Asmongold used to say, make a game for everyone. This is what he said. When you make a game for everyone, then you make a game for no one. That's the problem.
And Where Wind Meet redefining AAA game. Yes, they say it themselves, not from players, which came off as arrogant and out of touch. Then they switched from single player to online midway and started selling skins and items. Yeah, like since they always do. This completely destroyed players' trust.
That is what people call it, a bait and switch.
In domestic single-player games. They've done this kind of things countless times. As long as shareholders see pretty charts, it doesn't matter how disgusting the marketing is or how unreasonable the game changes are. And the truth is, they did get successful data-wise. In 2024, their game revenue was 83.6 billion RMB. So
Wow.
this time they went with the same old marketing tricks. Use arrogant slogans like "This will surpass Black Myth Wukong in real-world impact," which basically felt like a slap in the face, especially considering the Black Myth Wukong developer Feng Ji had just shared the trailer to support them. That made everything super awkward. And of course, they spent tons of money hiring influencers to make videos and articles hyping up the game.
Well, that is the one thing. I mean, influencers good, but writing articles like journalists, whoa, no. I don't know if they're gonna see this video, but by some miracle, you just see this. Don't hire journalists like, say, Kotaku, IGN, or Polygon, or The Verge. No. They don't like your game, so don't hire them.
I'm sure you have already seen some of your favorite YouTubers doing that. Don't doubt it. It's because they got paid. The funniest part is that Osmo Gold actually openly admitted it.
They actually sponsored me to watch the trailer, believe it or not.
So yeah, it's not really surprising that the game got roasted so hard in China. I won't even bother listing all the other shady things NetEast has done with their other games. And to be clear, I'm not saying that they shouldn't advertise their games, but if you choose to advertise it in this kind of way, you better be ready for the backlash. Yeah. So yeah.
That is quite true. You gotta be ready for that. Look, like I said, that's the difference between supporting a company and most importantly, shilling for it. for me, regardless if Marvel Rivals is a good free-to-play games or not, that does not mean I'm not going to criticize them for optimization or anything. Oh, no, they're not getting away. No one is immune to criticism.
Yeah, because of their inhuman marketing tactics, now almost no one is talking about Blood Message as a game. Even though the trailer actually looks decent and has a lot of interesting stuff worth analyzing, players are ignoring all of that and just focusing on bashing NetEase as a game company. Honestly, the way to fix this is pretty simple. Just shut up, finish the game properly, release real gameplay footage, and let the game speak for itself. Make us want to pay with our hearts. But as I'm doing this video, they are still constantly posting responses to mockery and criticism.
When making a game for everyone, you make a game for no one. Look, like I said, I may be supporting every games made in China, South Korea, or Japan, or even AA or indie. That does not mean I'm shilling for them, okay? I will always call out and criticize either optimization or perhaps bugs and glitches, something that's warrant of a criticism. If you don't know one thing, I don't know if you know this, Capcom says they will sue people for what? Slander and harassment? On my previous video, I wonder who on earth tried to harass the employees? What's going on? First thing you have to remember, if it's a good game or whatever it is, I will support it. But if it's a bad game, I don't look at it or I don't pay attention to it. But regardless of whether I like it or not, if the game have flaws such as optimization, I will call them out. Because if you don't know, Black Myth Wukong, when it released, it has de novo. And the first scene, the first cutscene, there was a little bit of lag, but my computer didn't crash the game, okay? It didn't go crash to desktop. It worked fine. I believe I put it on medium setting. I could be wrong on that. So I will continue to call them out regardless of their practices, okay? Remember, supporting a company is not same as shilling for them. Shilling means you support them by requesting free stuff like Booty Adams, Mighty Cuck, and Alyssa McConte.
Sound. It might be a survivor from the airborne squad.
All right, Lily. I'll hurry.
Lily, I need this communication line.
Oh, meanie.
What? You were the one that interrupted.
Stop. We've got to focus.
Leave a like and subscribe if you want gaming news, gaming theories, or you just want to see me play games. You can visit my first, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.